Okay. I think we're live, right? We're live?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I see it here on the computer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the SCW Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, SCW Wrestling. And before we start the podcast, I just want to say thank you to everybody who supported me throughout this whole few weeks. Logan versus Connor was a huge success, as well as the Roman and Jay Uso video. And I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm sick, and I've been like this for the past few days now, as of the time of this recording. But yeah, this is not going to stop me from doing the podcast either way. So for this episode, I actually had something already planned with CM Punk before his match against Gunther, but ultimately I had to scrap that idea because as I was building this studio, some information was given to me by some people that I'm not gonna name, that some individuals have been talking behind my back, and it hurts because I used to consider them as friends. So I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there. I am not accusing anybody of anything, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about them. Okay, so to start off with the first individual, and then we'll start with the other one, and then for the last one, it'll be just a off-brand topic, basically. So for the first individual, I used to consider him a friend. His name is ACW Wrestling Figures. With him, basically, it's just that I felt some type of way from him since the beginning, which was kind of like a snake, basically. Again, I am not accusing anybody of anything. It's just how I felt in those moments and with the recent events that took place from a few people that been telling me what they've been seen or told. And it's not really shocking, but it's gone to a point where I can't just keep this in my chest and I gotta just tell of anybody, basically. So let me take you guys back to, I believe, December 2023. That was, I believe, the month that ACW contacted me through a YouTube comment if I wanted to join a collab show. And I said yes. The first time that I ever collaborated with ACW was through a setup video, which in that time it was not that you would say popular like now. But at that time we did collaborate. We did do a setup video, and then after that he commented on one of my videos, I believe, or one of my community posts to do a collab show, and I said yes. So I ultimately downloaded Discord because I did have it previously, but it was not for any PigFed related stuff. It was just my personal account, and I changed my profile, my name, and I was in the group chat. So first month and so it was not that bad. I got to know everybody was in the group. It was pretty cool, pretty fun. And then something happened which did involve myself. And honestly, to this day, I don't feel like anything bad was made from my part. So let me just show you here in the computer. So it pretty much starts from here. It's basically a link that ACW posted on the group chat, which was an SWC video. Well, at that moment, it was his most recent on Premiere. And at that time, ACW and SWC were friends. And it was shocking to see that he said that it wasn't going to be good, and it just didn't sit right with me. So I texted on the group chat asking if they had SWC's Discord, and ACW himself was the one who gave me his Discord. Now, after that, I reached out to SWC and I just let him know, like, a heads up of what happened in the group chat. And I don't know if you guys can see, he was pretty bummed out. I don't know if he was really bummed out. That's not my business, but I just let him know because you guys know my motto. I've always been trying to make this community good, a better community since day one. And then after that, me and SWF had a brief conversation about the situation. He gave me his point of view. I gave him my point of view. And at the end, I didn't want to be in any type of beef with anybody because fusions was still happening at that time. So I was the bigger man, and I apologize to SCW, as you see right here on the screen. So basically, I'm just telling him that the message that he put in the group chat just didn't feel right to me. And I asked him if he would like it if somebody would talk behind his own back. So in this message, I was letting him know that it wasn't my idea, and I didn't tell SWC to make that short. It was purely his decision. And for the final message that I sent him, which was my apology, it's pretty ironic that I said to him that for all I know, I could be a topic of a discussion in another group chat. So, like I said, it's pretty ironic because I'm hopping on my podcast just to talk about the situation. But yeah, I mean, the first thing I said to him was like, never burn bridges with nobody, because you never know when you might need them. It could be your friend, it could be someone that you don't even know yet. So never burn bridges with nobody. So that's what I told him. I gave him a good advice, and this is what he said as a response. So he said, "Hey man, I understand what you're saying. I definitely wouldn't love if somebody talked bad about me behind my back, and I shouldn't talk bad about someone behind their back. But last night, I got pretty mad when SWC made the video basically about me. I definitely will apologize to him soon, and I'll forgive you as well." So that pretty much was it for that conversation, because after that, Fusions Assemble happened, and it was pretty cool. The chat room was chill, but until one day when I was at work and I received a lot of messages in the group chat, and usually I just go through it. I don't really respond. So I was just looking and stuff like that. And to put you guys into context, PTLW was texting in a group chat that he was supposedly retiring from YouTube because I believe there was a spider in one of his Ultimate Edition boxes. So if you guys don't know, he has a wall full of Ultimate Edition boxes at that time. I don't know if he still has it, but supposedly he was retiring because they were like, it was a spider in there. He didn't know where it was. And basically that was a reason for him to retire, which I honestly knew was fake. But thinking about it now, I don't really know if it was like a setup or it was to see who stands with Primetime. But I don't have anything against him. But here's the chat room about what ACW said. So now let's keep in mind, I don't know if this was arranged or anything of that nature, but if it was, then I would look like a dumbass. But if it wasn't, then I truly feel sorry for PTLW. So as you can see, it's basically what I was telling you about earlier, which is the context. And then on this one right here, you can read it, but on the bottom part of the photo, you'll see that he says basically that. And it's pretty sad because supposedly he's his friend. And again, he's basically saying that his Fed was terrible. And honestly, I was going to tell PTLW last year, but I felt like if I told him, I would have messed up Fusions Assemble and we would have never got Fusions ever. So I didn't tell him. I did take a screenshot just in case, because I just know that if the chats were going to go continue, it would have disappeared and I would have forgotten about it. But thank God I didn't. And I mean, I don't know if PTLW is literally right now in the chat, but yeah, I don't know if it was staged or not. If it wasn't, I feel truly sorry for you, bro. Literally. Since we're talking about PTLW, I want to transition into this new topic, which is about him. Now, I don't know if he's in the live stream, but I want to say, bro, I got nothing against you, but I got to bring up the topic about the $23 that you owe me. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, about, I believe, in August of 2024, I did a live stream where I was making PTLW his belts for WrestleMania and stuff, which I charged him $12. Now, I don't know, and I don't remember how we got into the discussion of a Mike Tyson figure being involved as part of the trade instead of paying me the $12. Now, he said yes because he offered it to me. Now, after a few days, he backtracked on what he said, saying that he can't guarantee me that Mike Tyson because he doesn't know in which storage unit he left it in, and he couldn't go find it because he's busy with school, Mania stuff, and in college next year, which, okay, it's understandable, but you still have Saturday and Sunday to go look for it and put the part of your, of your trade. Now, I was pretty mad. I was pretty pissed. And I don't know if he could notice it with how I write, because I was really, really pissed. And then he said, if there's anything else, I said the Eddie and Mankind Ultimate, which he said, okay, he'll try to find it, but he's not going to go out of town to look for them because he has no time for it. So if he can't guarantee that for me, why offer it to me in the first place? First the Mike Tyson, then the Eddie and Ultimate. Now, I'm going to pull up the screenshots, which is what I was talking about. So you'll basically get to see what I was talking about. So this right here is me just, negotiating how much it would be for all the belts. This one is for the tables, for the barricades, and the ring mat that I use the Staples app just to make the materials even better than just a normal printout on paper. And then this is just the one that basically says he can't do Mike Tyson and about the Eddie and Mankind Ultimate, blah, 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 and stuff like that. So after that, he just told me that if I needed any UFC figure or any WWE figure that I had in mind, I said no, because I literally have almost the exact same figures that he has. I just really needed a Mike Tyson because I was thinking of doing Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul in my channel before SWC did it with Jake Paul. But I mean, he said he was all for it, but he couldn't do it because he couldn't guarantee that the figure was in good shape and blah, 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 and stuff like this. I said the truth. Like, I believe that he doesn't want to do it and he doesn't want to trade it. And I get it. I get it. He said, no, it's not that. It's that I want to do it. It's just that, because you're one of my good friends and this and that. So then he told me that he was going to make a pile of figures once he got home. And I was thinking like elites or some repeat ultimates, but this was the figures that he was offering. So what you see on your screen are the figures that he tried to offer me for the trade. Now, when I saw this, I was laughing and then I got pretty pissed because this felt all like a scam. And I'm not accusing PTLW of being a scammer. It's just that the figures did not give the value of the figures that he was supposed to put as his part of the deal. Now, we went from either a Mankind Ultimate or Eddie Ultimate or even a Mike Tyson figure downgraded to a basic from 2011 or a basic from 2017, 2018, which literally doesn't give the exact same value as the belts that I was making him, which were a favor. Now, I took some time to think about it because I actually said I was interested in that Brock Basic and the Sheamus Elite. The Brock because I really wanted the head, but I took some time to think about it and I actually said I didn't really need them, and I just really needed the money. He said it's cool, blah, blah, blah. 23 because the materials that I did with the Staples app was like $11, and so I just charged it with the belts, which are $12, and basically 23. So he said if it was good to send it out, this and that. He then asked me again, what do I want in return? I actually said, I don't know, because it was basically the Tyson, but, for some reason he can't do the Tyson. So then I actually remembered that the Vader Ultimate was going to be releasing in October, but I wasn't going to be in the States during that time. So I told him as a backup plan, because that's what he said. Mind you, he said a backup plan because he can't do the Eddie, he can't do the Mankind, he can't do the Tyson. So I told him as a backup plan, if he finds the Vader, let me know. Now then he randomly said that he wasn't going to go to any stores until like early October, which was weird because he was posting videos doing toy hunts, which was pretty weird to me. So that's why he told me as a backup plan, the Ultimate Vader. Now, guaranteed, I knew that it wasn't going to happen. If he couldn't get me the Eddie or Mankind or Tyson, what would I guarantee that he was going to get me the Vader? So I was correct. When I was out of the States, I randomly just opened my YouTube app and the first thing I saw was a community post of Primetime with the Chase Vader, the Vader Ultimate, and some other figures. And I was just like, this guy, man, didn't even left me a message telling me like, oh, they have a Vader here, I'll send it to you, blah, blah, blah. Never. Not even a mention. So the first thing I did when I returned back to the States was actually purchase the Vader Ultimate. But when I went to my Target, they have nothing. They had literally nothing. So I literally had to buy it through the Target app. And after 2 weeks, I received it at my home, which I don't understand. But yeah, so that's already the Mankind, the Eddie, the Tyson, and the Vader. Now, let's fast forward to November. And I believe it was the 2nd of November where on Instagram, I messaged Primetime because he had bought the Triple H Monday Night Wars Ultimate and I couldn't get it near my area. And so I asked him, I said, "Sup, man, is it cool if you can pick me up a Triple H Ultimate for me?" Mind you, look at the date, November 2 at 9:50 in the morning. So you see that he didn't respond. He literally left me on red. And I believe at 10:11 a.m., he responded, but with a tagged photo for a giveaway. Now, mind you, I did not even respond. because it was just mind-boggling for me to comprehend that he left me on red. So, I mean, I got no problem with it, but the thing is that I still hadn't received my part of the trade, you know? So let's fast forward 10 days later, November 12th, where he went on live and I joined the live stream and I actually asked him if he can get me the Triple H. And his response was a nervous laugh. Let me show you the footage.
Honey, you're getting your... Yo, help me get the new Triple H. What is up, SCW?
Now, that wasn't it. I also commented on the live stream saying, I'm serious, that would cover the trade. And he basically just told me that he didn't get it at any Walmart. It was basically in a trade through Facebook, I believe, which, damn, you paid $60 overpaid for an Ultimate, and you gave him figures that were the same value, but you couldn't give me the Mike Tyson or Mankind or Eddie in that moment. You couldn't go look for them. It's pretty weird, huh? So yeah, I'm not sure, but here's the footage.
I'm serious, bro. That'll cover the logos and belts. Yeah, so for the Triple H, I know which one you're talking about. This one right here. I actually didn't find this. So, I got it in a trade on Facebook. I did a trade for it. Overpaid a little bit. The guy had it priced at 60, so I had to trade up like $60 in value for it. So, yeah, that's how I got it. Well, it's true. It's damn true. Oh, my gosh.
Now returning to the first subject, which was the money. I actually sent him my basically Zelle, and he said, "Sure, I'm in school. I'm not supposed to be on my phone. Blah blah blah. This and that." I said, "Whenever you can." He actually texted me saying that he doesn't have Zelle. So all this time he knew that he didn't have Zelle, and I just made the belts and all that stuff. And when he said that, I just got so pissed. And I think you can see in my text messages, I actually told him that, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'll just send it to him. And he said, no, like 3 times, I gotta send you something, blah, blah, blah. He already knows what I wanted. So then the Triple H stuff happens and this and that. So after that, I did a short where I went to Target and I showcased all the figures that were on the shelves or the pegs. And basically, that was a day prior to this conversation, which I'm about to show you. He asked me if I found Elite 111 and the new AEW figures, I believe it was. And I said this. So he basically hit me up asking if I found the Jeff Hardy and the Elite 111 and this and that. But here's the funny thing. He asked me to do another trade. And as you see my reaction from the sticker I sent, I said, bruh, because what do you mean you want to do another trade? And I haven't received anything for the belts. And I even briefly mentioned it here that I don't get nothing in return. And he straight up asked me if I needed anything that he might have. And I was like, bruh, again, like the Tyson, the Mankind, the Eddie. And it's like, bro, come on. So then he asked me if he has any figures that I might want. And I was like, bro, come on. So I said the $23. And he said, I tried doing the Zell thing, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So then I said, you know what? If you have a Boogeyman figure, I can do that with the money inside the package, because at that time I was thinking of doing Halloween Havoc, but it was in its earliest stages of development. So he told me that he could buy a new one off Amazon with the box, and I told him I don't need the box. And the thing is, I don't want him to buy something from Amazon because especially the old WWE figures are really expensive on Amazon. Plus he has to pay shipping and stuff, and he has to pay shipping from the USPS or UPS, whatever it is, to deliver to my house. That's another bag of money. And on top of it, $23 inside the package is more money. So he'll spend more money than he really needed to, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I said no to that, obviously. So I just told him to forget about it because it doesn't make any sense. So let's fast forward back again to November time when the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Shawn Michaels was starting to ship out. Now, I received 2 figures of him because, you know, I wanted to keep one in box and I wanted to have one open. So that's why I bought 2 of them. Now, PTLW actually messaged me on Instagram saying that he saw my short or video and he was interested into asking me if I could sell one or trade him my Shawn Michaels, which automatically, when I read that, I said no. In my mind, I said no. So I literally texted him saying, no, I'm not going to do it. He said, fine, thank you, no problem. And miracle, that the Eddie and Mankind Ultimate, he found them at Walmart by the grace of God. Miracle. Can you believe it? The Mankind and Eddie, he found them. And he wanted now to actually trade it for the Shawn Michaels. So I said no. I said thank you. The Mankind I already bought, and the Eddie, I'm gonna get it later. He said, all right, thanks. It was so weird, because how come all this time of looking for the Eddie and Mankind, you couldn't find it, but once I received the Shawn Michaels Ultimate, you were down to trade an Eddie or a Mankind for that figure? It's just pretty weird. Literally weird. So that's the topic with PTLW. Like I said, I got no problem with him. You know, there's no beef, there's no animosity or anything of that nature. Now, let's transition back to ACW and then to the last topic of discussion. So when Fusions Assemble got announced internally, I was invited into the group chat, and it was just 4 people. Me, ACW, PTLW, and SWF. Now, at first, it was all good. My match was Logan and Taker, and then it transitioned into being a wild card thing, which I didn't understand what it was, but then I got the details, and it was basically a tournament. Now, I mentioned that my match is not a qualifier match, not even a tournament match. It was a match, like a WrestleMania, because I told them my Taker matches, my Mania is basically fusions. So they tried to change it to basically to the wild card thing, and 2 times I said I was going to think about it, and the last time I said I wasn't going to do it because my match, like I said, it wasn't a qualifier match. Now, after that, I was still in the group chat until I literally just went on Instagram and I wanted to text in the group chat, and I saw that I got kicked out. So the first thing I did was just to test the waters. So I put a note out in the Instagram notes, and the first person who replied was ACW, saying that he gave me all these options and I didn't want to take him and stuff like that. I said, you know what? It's all good. I got no problem with it. So then after that, right, I've got information by a few people telling me that they've been making fun of me behind my back and stuff like that. Now, I don't understand where that came from or why, because I've never said anything bad about ACW or anybody from Fusions ever. And just right now, I noticed that Fusions got canceled. Now, it was due to time, as I see, and they tagged me in the post and everything, but I'm not going to respond to it or interact to it, because with all the things that happened before, knowing that they talked behind my back and they made fun of me and stuff, it just doesn't make sense to interact. Now, I know who did it, and it was basically ACW and the other guy I wanted to talk about in this topic or discussion. So the last guy I wanted to talk about is WAW. So with the few people that have been messaging me about what he said about me and how he acts towards other feds, it really shocks me, because this is the exact same guy who congratulated me on my birthday, the same guy who asked me to be on one of his live streams, and this comes with pure shock, because I've always been respectful to him and anybody who's ever crossed paths with me, either through DM or live stream, and it just shocks me, really. And basically the reason it shocks me is because I asked him if he wanted to announce some wrestlers in my last pay-per-view during my Royal Rumble match, basically. And he said yes, he was down for it. And then I literally asked him if he wanted to do the voiceover for Will Ospreay, which he also said yes to it. So I don't know what I did to him, but this just really shocks me, bro. And it feels like a backstab. And I used to consider you as a friend as well. So that's why it kind of hurts a little bit. The reason I say that is because you've been making fun of me behind my back and calling me a shorts merchant. Now, to get into the topic of that, I've decided to actually say something about it. Yes, I am a shorts merchant, and I don't really care, because this YouTube thing, this wrestling fed community stuff, I don't take it personally. This is not my full-time job, like I've said before countless times. This is just a hobby. And this is something that I want to do. Nobody has the power to control and literally tell me what I should do for my channel. So if I want to do 10 This Is Your Figures in one day, I could do it. And if anybody doesn't like it, gladly unsubscribe. That is not my problem. I could do whatever I want for my channel, and that goes for any fed. Now, to talk about that topic, I want to get into what WSC. So basically, I've seen a lot of hate towards him because he's supposedly copied WWE in many aspects. But that's his content. If he wants to do it, let him do it. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe. There's no reason to talk bad about him behind his back, even if he doesn't know you. The thing is that you never know in the future, if you're still doing this, you might collab with him. You never know. You never know. Digital footprint is a real thing. Now, the reason I mention this is because from the few people that have notified me about this is that you sent a picture in your group chat, I don't know which one is it, about the ACW community post about his Royal Rumble and how he's desperate for views. Now, he's not desperate for views. That's just a method to get audience, if that makes it any clear. But at the same time, you're making a battle royal match, which is basically a Royal Rumble, just with fewer opponents. Pretty ironic. And now the last thing that a few people have notified me about is that you posted in, I don't know what group chat, it was my community post about the podcast. And you said something about the lines of, watch it be me or somebody else that I can't remember who it is. But when I read that, I laughed because many people have been getting this misconception of that my podcast is going to be interviewing other fans and stuff like that. That will be later down the road. When I posted my podcast thing, I said specifically that I was going to do it with wrestlers from my roster in figure form. And when I saw what you posted or what you said about my thing, I laughed because if I were to talk with other feds, you weren't going to be on my list. And I'm being truly honest. Even though we've worked before, I don't really think we would have ever collaborated in any podcast because the time, difference is different. I think you live in the UK. I live here in the United States. And there was going to be no time for communication because I also have real life work, not just sitting down in my room making videos all the time. So that's one of the things that made me laugh. And basically, I didn't really have you in mind for anything other than the announcements on my pay-per-view last month and the Will Ospreay voice, and that's it. And what's also funny is that you've made fun of me, call me many things, and I don't know what else, but you are also tagging me in giveaways, really weird, and then you respond to one of my stories. And I just left you on red because there's no need to interact with me now knowing how you really are. So now that I discussed everything from these three individuals, what can we learn from this? One is to never burn bridges with anybody. That means in real life or online. You should always be your real self. You should always be real and never talk behind nobody's back. And the second thing that we learned today is that if you guys are doing a trade, if you know you have nothing good to give, do not offer something that you don't have. And the third thing that we learned today is just to be your real self. You don't have to make fun of somebody just to fit in a certain group or to even like somebody. And that's basically it. And after all of this, I'm not looking for no beef. I'm not looking for any responses because you guys know how I am. I always try to be positive and try to make this community better, even though if it's sometimes boring because drama sometimes might keep this community alive. But for me, it's not like that. And if I'm telling everything about these three guys, it's because I've been holding this for almost a year now. And with knowing that they've been making fun of me, it's like it was time to say something and speak up. And yeah, that's basically it. So if you're in the chat, I will tell you now that there's no way to communicate with me after this video. I've blocked every single one of you through Discord, Instagram, and if you guys decide to comment something underneath this podcast video or something, chances are we'll just leave a like and a heart, and that's it. And I'm not here just to throw hate at them, and I'm not saying you guys throw hate at them as well. I'm not saying that. I don't advocate for hate. I don't condone hate. But I will say this, even though they've made fun of me and, they've been like this towards me with this behavior, I still respect them. And I still wish them the very best, whether it be in online or in real life. I don't know them personally. I don't have to know them personally. But I do wish them success in anything they want to do. I know some of them are leaving. Some of them are having a hiatus. So anything you guys want to do, make sure you put everything towards it and you'll succeed in whatever you want to do. So that's basically it for today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys liked this first episode. Granted, this was not the idea I had. I had an interview with CM Punk I wanted to do before his match against Gunther, but this podcast comes out after the match. So, but yeah, I mean, I hope you guys like this podcast, and let me know if you guys want more. If you guys want other fans to join the podcast and we can talk about anything, whether it be wrestling related or even conspiracy theories or anything in general, we can talk about it. But yeah, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and don't miss out on more content in the SCW channel. So I'll see you guys in the next one.